Pop punk is on the rise, and so is its production quality. So let's figure out exactly how to make a modern day pop punk song. If this is your first time here, welcome to the channel. I'm Andrew Barr with Producing in the Box, where I teach you how to make incredible sounding music without analog gear, and I think you are better off without it. So I'm sure, as you saw in the title, there are free presets, and they go hand in hand with this session. If you use Slate Digital's virtual mix rack, or you have the Slate Digital All Access bundle, just scroll down and click the link in the description and download the free presets. We will be using them to mix this song. All right, I'm done wasting your time. Pop punk waits for nobody. Let's get into the session. So this video is basically going to be an overview of all of the elements, and then I will take a deep dive into each one of these elements in future videos. So here is a clip of the song. So that is a straight up pop punk style sound. So let's jump right into the very first thing that I think everybody thinks of when they think of pop punk, and that is drums. These are MIDI drums. We play them on an electric kit or we write them in, but we are using GGD's Modern and Massive for this drum tone. As you can see, I have everything routed out nicely in here. So I have individual tracks. So I have a kick track, a snare track, and then, my toms, hi-hats, cymbals, all of that fun stuff as well. I am also doing a bit of sample enhancement on the kick and the snare using Slate Digital's Trigger 2. And I also have all of this routed to a bus called drums. And this is where the preset comes in handy. So let's just take a listen to the mix of the drums with this plugin bypassed and with it on. And this is the preset that you get free if you scroll down and click the link in the description. So I have a SSL style compressor here, then I have high shelf EQ, and then I have one more compressor just to kind of tame everything and just kind of glue it in just a little bit more. This SSL is a super grabby style compressor, super fast, and this one is able to kind of tame everything and kind of glue it together and make it sit in the mix. And so now with the drums, now we have the bass. So they blend really well together. I am using an instance of THU here, and I'm using the Blackface 59 as the bass amp. I'm also using a little bit of EQ here, down around 80 hertz, and I'm boosting it around 2 dB. And I'm using a compressor to kind of like tame everything out. This is also part of the presets. And then I'm using an instance of MoTT to really give it that clarity up top and to thicken it up down here at the bottom. I am also running my bass to a bus called Disc Bass. And on that bus, I have an instance of STL tonality, and it's just a guitar amp, and I'm using it to get that high-end crunch to blend everything together. So without it, and then with it. And it really just kind of locks everything in and gives those guitars something to really bind to and to make a wall of sound style mix. Now we are moving on to the guitars, and there are a lot of guitar layers going on here. And that's really good because for pop punk, it's really pretty much kind of simple as far as drums and bass goes. And then when you start adding layers, you start adding guitar layers. So we have a section of rhythm guitars here. I have one pan hard left and one hard right. Now I also have some lead guitars going on top. Let's just solo the lead guitars here. As you can tell, the chords that they chose to play work really well. Here I have some compression going on here. I have some saturation going on here. I have a little bit of EQ. I'm boosting high-end shelf at 1.8, and then I'm also boosting about 3.2 kilohertz at 1.7 dB. And then I'm also cutting everything below 70 hertz. And then I have one more compressor to kind of tame everything out. As you can tell, I really like an SSL to really smack everything right at the beginning. And then I like to use this 401 to kind of tame everything out and let it sit in the mix just a little bit more. I believe this is a VCA style compressor. This will also be in the free presets. All right, we also have vocals.
Guilty, if you'd excuse me, I'd like to catch my breath. I know it's no excuse.
There is a lot going on here, and I will break some of it down for you. So here we have a main vocal. It's right up the center, and it's tuned with a little bit of metatune. And now I have another preset that I'm giving away, and this is doing the majority of the work on these vocals. Let's actually just take a listen to this main vocal without and with this plugin engaged.
If you'd excuse me, I'd like to catch my breath. I know it's no excuse. I'm sick of me. I'm tired of you, and
As you can tell, there is a lot going on. So I have a virtual preamp going on right here. It's going into just a little bit of saturation to give it that analog warmth that we love. And then I have this EQ. I'm rolling off some of the low end around 98 hertz. And then I'm cutting around 600 to get rid of some of that boxiness. I'm boosting a little bit of 7K for some presence. And then here at 15K, I'm boosting actually a decent amount to give it that top end clarity and some air. I also have a opto style compressor that slams it pretty stinking hard. I really like an opto style compressor on vocals. And then I have another 1176 style compressor that is also taming the vocals as well. I like to stack my compressors to give a really nice tight vocal sound. If you try to do all of the compression on one compressor, things are going to start to get a little bit wonky and it'll sound like it's pumping. And that's really not what you're after. Then I have a trimmer plugin just to make sure that my output gain is where it needs to be. And now I have tons of other vocals on top. So I have another lead that's panned to the left and another lead that's panned to the right. And I had him track these separately and they sound like this.
if you'd excuse me, I'd like to catch my breath. I know it's no excuse. I'm sick of me. I'm tired.
Now we have some pitched octaves, and it sounds like this.
If you'd excuse me, I'd like to catch my breath.
I'm just using a bit of vocal bender here to pitch it up a full octave, and I'm using the mix knob here to blend it in. It really adds a bit of clarity and punch through a vocal if you blend it in properly. Now we have some harmonies, and they sound like this.
Excuse me, I'd like to catch my breath. I know it's no excuse.
And these are really the driving force behind the vocals. So let's take a listen to the harmonies on and then off.
You'd excuse me, I'd like to catch my breath. I know it's no excuse. I'm sick of me. I'm tired of you, and
they add a lot of low end, and since they are different notes, it's not the same note, just an octave lower. It really adds a little bit more of a melodic element to the entire vocal. Now I have some risers and impacts going on throughout the choruses to kind of make them hit just a little bit harder.
I'm so guilty. You'd excuse me.
So obviously there is a lot more that we could dive into, but that was basically a 30,000 foot overview of the entire song. I have already teased some of this song in other videos, and I will continue to dive in the future and go through each individual element. If you want to listen to this song in its entirety, it's from a band called Intwo, and this song is called Shameless. I will make sure that there is a link in the description. So remember when I alluded to using 2 compressors earlier? Well, click this video and I will show you exactly why I use 2 compressors and how you can do the same on your own vocals. Dare I say it is the right way to compress vocals. So click that button to watch that video now, and now as always, go create.